everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney, and I've got 3 things to show you today. Welcome back, it's Tuesday. Oh wait, before I forget, I keep forgetting. This one is always here next to me, but people are getting upset that I'm not, that she's not saying hello. So Gidget says hi, don't you? Yes. Gidget says hello, and she is sitting right here, so pretty much every video, if there's ever a question, she's sitting beside me. She is my shadow, so she just curls up right there. All right, I've got 3 things to show you today. But first, beforehand, I want to say thank you to all the response for my 3rd day that I have added. So going forward, for the foreseeable future, we're just kind of seeing how this goes. I'm going to have a 3rd day, a sew-along Sunday, if you will. So on Sundays going forward, it will always be a tutorial or some sort of a sew-along every Sunday morning, same time, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, in addition to my regular Tuesday and Fridays videos. Those will still be going up per normal. So then I just thought Sundays I will reserve for anyone that's interested in more of the tutorials or sew-alongs, and then business as usual on Tuesdays and Fridays. So I had my how to shorten jacket sleeves tutorial that went up Sunday and had a great response to that. So thank you all very, very much. And if you guys still want to see it, then I will put it up and show it. So that's gonna, oop, kicking my lights. That'll kind of be how that works going forward. And I'm currently this week filming a sew along for Vogue 1643. I'll pop a picture of that pattern up here. It's that Gucci inspired jacket. And that first video, that will probably be at least 3 weeks worth of video, maybe 4. Because I'm literally sewing it along with you guys. So, and I haven't really, I've cut it out and that's it. So I haven't, and I'm gonna be talking about that. I'm filming a whole bunch today. So anyway, so I don't really know how many it will make sense to break it up into. I like to break it up and have it stopping at like spots that make sense. So anyway, 3 to 4 weeks probably on that sew along. And then I wanted to delve into the McCall's 8011, pop a picture of that picture up here, and I'll be taking apart a thrifted men's leather coat to do that one. And I'll also be adding a lining to that pattern. So yeah, that will be after the Vogue jacket. Be very coat heavy around here. All right, so for today, I have 3 things to share with you. I have 1 pattern test that if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen already. I have my dress that I made for a funeral I just recently had to go to, and I wanted to share that with you because it is a summer dress pattern that I turned into a very much fall-winter pattern. And I wanted to share that with you. And then, actually probably not last, I'll show you this first, but my daughter's dress that she designed. So let's get started. I will pop a picture here. I posted this on Instagram, so if you follow me on over there, if you're on Instagram, you should definitely follow me. I have all that information down below in my description box at the very bottom, all the time after every video. But I posted a picture, a side-by-side photo of the drawing that she had done and her in the dress. And funnily enough, sorry, my eye wasn't even dry, and literally until I sat down. I was so good about doing drops, and then I stopped. Sorry. I'll try not to bother you all with that. But I did a side-by-side picture, and I'll pop the picture up here, but it is, she's standing like in the same pose as the drawing that she drew, which we both thought was kind of funny. But the father-daughter dance was on Saturday. She was over the moon with the dress, and I wanted to share that with you real quick, and some pictures of her twirling around in it and how that all ended up. So this is, well here, I'm gonna share with you first the accessories that she made. So she definitely, going off the picture, had a very, almost like a bohemian, hippie, very flower girl type vibe that went on. So she wanted a sash that went along with the dress, and she wanted flowers in her hair and on the sash as well, which really kind of reminded me of a, like a corsage, you know, like the waist corsages that used to be a thing. I think now they just do the wrist ones, but anyway. So she created, and again, I talked about this in the previous video. I'll leave a link. I'll pop up a link to the video where I kind of talked about my plans for this dress. But I had bought a little bouquet from JoAnn's, and it was on their clearance table. It was like 90% off or some ridiculous % off, but it was a faux little pot of flowers, and so it was all the colors she wanted. So I bought that little pot of flowers for like $5. We pulled all the fake flowers out of it and used them for her accessories. So she made the hair clip. If you can kind of see, there's like some thistle in there. Actually, we still have some hot glue It was very hot glue heavy with these little crafting items. But this was all her. And this was kind of the color of her dress with the main flower, and then she just has some foliage. So this was in her hair, and again, I'll show you pictures of her twirling, and I'll show you even some like close-up pictures as well. And then she put together this little combination because she wanted a little pop of purple. And actually we brought the purple in with my husband's tie, some purple in his tie too, so that they coordinated. And then it's got these little green berries on here and a succulent. She did say the succulent was stabbing her all night long. But we actually hot glued those onto a piece of felt, and then I hand sewed the piece of felt to the belt because the belt is this stretch suede. And I was just worried, I mean, it's polyester, I'm sure. This is that wonderful fabric from JoAnn's though. You guys, if you've not bought the faux stretch suede from JoAnn's, go now. They have a million different colors. Their sales are amazing, and it is so nice. Anyway, the little plug there. But we did this little sash, and I had it fixed with snaps, so it just snapped closed around her waist, and you'll see that on her in a minute. But it's stretchy, so we could make it pretty tight fitting and not have to worry about sizing it just perfectly. So that's what she made for, I mean, I made the belt, but she put all those together, and then I hand sewed them onto the sash. And then the dress. So we used a mashup of the Tessa sheath dress. I'll pop a picture of that pattern from Love Notions. We used the bodice of that dress because she wanted a fitted scoop neck bodice, and that dress does come with a scoop neck. This was made for knit patterns, and I'll talk a little bit about the adjustments that I did make to the pattern. And then we used the Sybil skirt, also from Love Notion Patterns, because those patterns are made to be combined. You can put the skirt onto the bodice of the Tessa, and she even tells you where to cut off the Tessa, because it's like a sheath dress, a knit sheath dress. She tells you where to cut it off to then add the Sybil skirt to the bottom, which is what we did. Because she wanted a full skirt, which we put on, and she wanted a high-low hem. So we found this knit lace at JoAnn's, but it is not very stretchy. It does have stretch, but it does not have great recovery. And obviously this pattern was meant for, I think 20 to 30% stretch, but because this did not have great recovery, I put, as you can see, an invisible zipper in the back, and I added just 1/4 inch to the side seams on both the front and the back, and just to give her a little extra ease, because I didn't want it to be too tight. I did the same with the sleeve. I actually added 3/8 of an inch to either side of the sleeve because I didn't want that to be too tight. I wanted it to be fitted but not too tight. And then I cut and just flared the bottom of the sleeve to give it just kind of this fun little, there's a seam there, but to give it this, she wanted a fun flare at a 3/4 length sleeve, which again, I literally just cut off the bottom part of the sleeve pattern, the 3/4 length sleeve pattern that came with the pattern, and I just slashed and spread it until it was like pretty, you know, arced. And then just redrew it, so then I knew that, you know, it would fit into the sleeve, and then it would have a fluted effect. Basically, it's like putting a circle skirt almost into a waistband, except this wouldn't be a full circle, like a half maybe, but anyway. And then for the bottom, the skirt pattern is just the same for the front and the back. So I cut out the front per normal, and then the back, I just started, I think I added, on the dog's head, I added 6 inches along the fold, and then I just drew a new curve up to the regular side seam. It was very much free-handed to give the high-low effect on the back of the skirt. With the lining, I used a rayon knit, and I lined the bodice, obviously, and then I lined the skirt. But I just kept the rayon knit the same all the way around, and I made it like 1 inch shorter than the skirt of the dress so that it wouldn't peek out. And then also you couldn't see the back of it because the back of the skirt is longer than the front, so you could see the wrong side of the fabric. So then you couldn't see that, but then it was still coverage for modesty. We did not line the sleeves, as you can tell. I finished the neckline actually with some fold over elastic. I sewed it to the front of the dress and then just turned it inside like you would bias binding pretty much. And I stretched the elastic a little bit as I sewed because I wanted it to hug her, it's a scoop, but I wanted it to hug her body. And then I used the rolled hem foot on my serger to finish off the seams on the sleeve and on the skirt. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's definitely, I mean, I didn't really want to hem it because it's the pretty lace. And this lace was just gorgeous. All the fabric was very easy to work with. It all came from JoAnn's. So yeah, that's the dress. That's how we brought the dress alive. So I will post some of her in it right now, some pictures of her hair and makeup that we did. It was just a very fun bonding experience, both for she and I on the front end, and then the night itself was a fantastic experience for her and her dad. So it was just, it was good. And of course she came home from the dance with like 100 ideas for a dress for next time. They do it every other year. So she'll be a freshman, which is weird to think about next time that they do one. So she already has, for now, ideas of what she wants the dress to look like next. Which is fun because that's one of the things, you know, I sew, and the idea of making dresses, formal dresses, especially for my daughter, was just always like, yeah, who doesn't want an excuse to do that? So I'm just excited that she is excited about designing them so that I can make them. So anyway, yes, I made a straight extra small for her, both the skirt and the top. Highly recommend both patterns. Very hackable, very cute worn as is. Again, it just worked really, really well. So yes, that is my daughter's dress from her father-daughter dance. So first formalish dress that I've had a chance to make for her. Oh, other fitting on there. My daughter has an abnormally long torso, which is so funny because that is the complete opposite of me. I have a short torso, but I had to lengthen the bodice by 1.5 inches because when I made her practice dress, which I also showed you guys, it was out of the Minerva fabric. It was really high on her waist, and I probably could have added 2 inches to the bodice for it to hit right at her natural waist, but 1.5 inches, I mean, it worked fine, but it's crazy how different one's child's body can be from one's own body, but it's pretty different. Okay, next dress. As many of you know, I unfortunately had to pop out of town last week for a funeral, and it was kind of last minute, but as I was going through my closet, it dawned on me that I had nothing funeral appropriate. I had no like dark colored dress. I probably could have maybe finagled some dark pants, which probably would have been fine, but sewing is also a therapy for me, and with all the emotion surrounding the funeral and everything, I felt like I sat down the Saturday before I left and made myself a dress. So I used the Oya dress pattern from Itch to Stitch, and I will pop a picture of the pattern up here. Now, this is very much a summer dress. It's got the grommets with the really neat lacing across the front, and I actually made it, I was a pattern tester for it, and I will pop a picture of me in my summer version right here. Love the dress. Got so many compliments when I wear it. It fits me really well. So I knew that this would be a good base of a dress to make, because again, I didn't have time to make a muslin or anything for fitting purposes. So I knew I had it all, you know, the pattern all ready to go. The only thing I made different to this pattern was I shortened the skirt by 2 inches. I make a size 8 with a D cup for her patterns. And you know, that's what I did. Oh, and I grade out to a 10 at the waist and then just keep the skirt a 10. Technically I'm an 8 at the hips, but it's just, I mean, it's an A-line skirt, so who cares if it's a little big in the hip. And I put the pockets in. So I had this, it's navy blue, but it is this velveteen, and you see the little polka dots? The polka dots are like, it's just a change in the pile of the fabric. And I made a jacket with some coordinating jogger pants for the Sew Frosting last year. And this was the leftover fabric I had, and it worked perfectly. In fact, I had just enough for this dress, and I had to use some, actually some stretch cotton twill for the facings on this dress, because I didn't have enough for the facings. But this turned out so cute. And my idea, obviously I did not do any of the grommets, and you can kind of see, sorry, it's really hard to see the dark fabric. I didn't do any, I just omitted the grommets on this, but I think that it adds the V in the front, still adds a really cool detail. And then with the thought that I could either wear the jacket that I made over it, and I'll wear them both ways here, or I could wear a turtleneck underneath it, which I love it. It's like a pinafore dress, and that's how I wore it to the funeral. I wore a turtleneck underneath. Again, I kept the pockets in there. I'm actually showing this to you bare-legged, which normally I would not wear it bare-legged, because if it's cold enough to need to wear a turtleneck underneath, I should have tights on, but oddly enough, so the whole story with the funeral, I was scheduled to fly out Thursday morning. The funeral was Thursday afternoon, or memorial service was Thursday afternoon in my hometown, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours drive from the nearest airport. My family no longer lives in my hometown. My parents have since moved up to the Kansas City area, closer to my sister, and I was supposed to fly into Kansas City. I had a super early flight on Thursday. I was supposed to leave Indy at 7, and it's just an hour and 15-minute flight. So I gain an hour going back to Missouri because they're central time zone. Anyway, I was supposed to get into Kansas City at like 7:45 in the morning, and I was gonna, hitch a ride with my family down to my hometown for the memorial service, but I got a text. I was up early at 4 because I was finishing getting ready, and I was gonna be driving myself to the airport for such an early flight, and I got a text that my flight had been canceled. So, which is what you wanna read at 4 o'clock in the morning. I have no idea why the flight was canceled. The weather was fine. I don't know if they just didn't have enough to make the flight. I don't know what happened, but I just got a text saying the flight was canceled, and there were no other flights that would get me into Kansas City in time for me to get a ride to my hometown. So I hopped in the car and I drove. But the plan was I was gonna stay with my sister on Thursday night and then fly home on Friday. So I was just gonna use all of her beauty products, her hair products, and I had no black tights. And so I thought, oh, I'll just borrow a pair from her when I get there. Anyway, long story short, I drove, which is a 7-hour drive back to my hometown from where I currently live. Made it there in time. I gained an hour, so that helped, by myself, but I just thrown my suitcase into the car hurriedly, and I had no tights or footwear to wear with my dress once I was there in Sedalia. Didn't dawn on me though until I was there, and the Walmart was completely sold out of tights. They'd had like a sale on them, and there was a big run on tights. They had no tights at the local Walmart. So anyway, I went bare-legged. It was freezing. It was like 30 degrees, and that's not an exaggeration. It literally was 30 degrees, and my legs froze, but it was all indoors, so that definitely helped. So anyway, I thought I'd show you how that goes. And I'm wearing my thrifted shoes. Let me show you my thrifted shoes. Okay, so I wanted to show you a close-up of my thrifted shoes. Look at these. So all of this black is flocked, and then it's just like a fabric background. I put insoles because the original insoles were totally like melting away to nothing. It's got these beautiful block heel. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with these shoes. And they're a little big for me. These are 7.5s, and I normally wear a size 7. So it just worked out perfectly that I needed to put that in. And then I put one of those things in the back that help with rubbing, like if your foot is sliding up and down in your shoe. So now they fit like a dream. But these are my shoes that I thrifted at Goodwill for like $4, and they were Karen Scott Soft Step. I don't know. I would say that I would guess just by the toe shape and the heel that probably they're from the 90s, because this was very much in the 90s. It's back, but because again, like all the leather and stuff on the inside of the shoe is completely flaking off. So I would just assume that they're a little bit older shoe. But oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with these, and I want to wear them with jeans, and I want to wear them all the time. I need to treat them actually, because with like a suede spray, because they are flocked and they're fabric shoes. Okay, so that was my thrift shoe find. It was so exciting. I was with Jenny, my friend Jenny, when I made that discovery. Okay, so that's the Oya dress, and again, it very much can be worn, make it out of a wool or whatever. It makes a fantastic pinafore dress, and I've been showing you me in the actual garment there. All right. For the final garment, I was a tester for Itch to Stitch, and I made her Cape Cod capelet. It's kind of hard to say. I'll pop a picture of the pattern up here. This was just released, not last week, but maybe the week before. I am so obsessed with this. I love this pattern. Now, I made it as is. I made a size medium, but again, I was a tester, and she actually ended up lengthening the capelet by 2 inches. So if you're worried that it will be too short on you, she has lengthened it by 2 inches. This was the quickest and easiest make ever. It took longer to hem all the way around than to do anything else. I used my cover stitch. It's made for Knit Fabrics. I used this gorgeous organic French terry that I got from Blackbird Fabrics, and it was a remnant. I love the high collar. I'm actually thinking about putting my monogram right here. I made a cape for my sister 2 years ago now, I think, and it's wool with like buttons down the front, but it has her monogram on it, probably on the side actually, and it's so chic, and I think I might do that on this one because I do have an embroidery machine. But anyway, it's like a chic upscale turtleneck. I've worn this so much. Now it does have you stitch in the ditch down here like about 4 inches at the bottom, so it does create kind of a sleeve, so it's not just, you know, just thrown over you willy-nilly. You do kind of have a sleeve. Again, I used my cover stitch for the hem, which made it go pretty quickly. It's a little low, excuse me, it's a little lower in the back than it is in the front, which I think just looks so cute from the side. Oh, it's just an upscale sweatshirt. Like, I threw it on, I went to a indoor soccer game last night, and I threw it on, and it was just like a perfect wrap because it's warmed up a little bit. I say warmed up. It's like in the mid 50s here right now. So I don't really need a coat, but I can just toss this on like I would a sweatshirt, but it's like a chic sweatshirt. So I just feel very fancy when I wear it. So anyway, this is the capelet. It is a definite winner of a pattern. Again, so quick, so beginner friendly, because you can sew it up on a sewing machine, or I did all of mine on the serger. Either or, it just makes for a great, easy project. Okay. That's what I've got for you guys today. Those are the 3 projects I wanted to share with you. And on Friday, I'm going to share with you a list of, I'm not sure how many, but sewing patterns. If you are wanting to, everyone's doing Christmas gifts of things to ask for if you're a seamstress or if you're buying things for a seamstress in your life. But I thought it might be kind of fun to do a list of patterns if you're wanting to make things for loved ones in your life, like easy patterns or patterns that don't require a lot of fitting. Things that you can easily make as a secret for someone else. So I was gonna make a list of some, I don't know if I can get to 10. Maybe 10 is always a good number, like my 10 pattern ideas for sewing something for your loved one this Christmas season. Because as we're getting kind of close, but my hope is that most of these are pretty easy sews, so you might be able to get them done here before the holiday season. So that's what I've got for you on Friday, and then on Sunday we've got video 1 of the Vogue 1643 Sew Along. So that's what we've got coming up. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you all on Friday. Bye.